We talked after the election, but now we've got even more time to ask that question, which is, you know, in the day-to-day, you've got to be involved, you've got to see, you've got to read, you've got to see the feedback, you've got to see what's working and not working. Were there moments when you it was frustrating, like it was to every other normal human being? Of course. And you went, this is unfair, but then sometimes if there was a big hit, you went, yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
look, that is political life. And political life, my chief of staff used to say, I don't know where he picked up the quote from, maybe it was original. He said, but if you want fair, don't go into politics. And that's not a whinge, that's just a reality. And so if you don't like what happens in there and you get a hard time and, you know, people say untrue things about you, well, yeah, that's going to happen. I wish it happened less, and it should never sort of impact, you know, on your family and things like that, and that should always be a no-go zone, having a great what people do with their families. But, you know, it still happens. But no, you can't complain about the field you're on. You choose a life in public service in politics, and that's going to come with some slings and arrows. The key thing is, and look, my faith informs me a lot on this, is you don't carry it around with you for the rest of your life. And so you ask me why now? Well, now is a good opportunity. I'm really pleased to see Peter Dutton and the team, Sussan Ley and the whole, with the Nats and so on, doing really well. You know, they are holding this government to account. You know, haven't come on here to have a partisan discussion tonight, really, but, you know, they're doing a great job. And they've come through some difficult times. Peter has shown, I think, tremendous leadership since the last election. I've been thrilled to be able to give him my support. Behind the scenes and in front of the scenes as well, and to mentor some of the new ministers, shadow ministers are coming through. A number of them said to me last year, particularly, look, it'd be great if you hung around a little longer, and I was happy to do that. But at some point, you know, locally, while I've enjoyed the time locally, a new candidate needs to be selected by the Liberal Party, and I've given them plenty of time now to go and do that process properly, and I look forward to them putting someone forward for the by-election when it comes who can have that passion and long-term commitment that I certainly took to the job over 16 years ago.
Now, you said you don't want to get partisan, but I have to ask about the Stage 3 stuff, right? Yeah. Now, we don't know what the announcement's going to be tomorrow, but I have no doubt how it's going to be spun, which is, yes, we broke a promise, but we did it in the pursuit of fairness. Why does that not stack up?
Well, it's the but. Yes, we broke a promise. No, full stop.
Yeah, correct.
Full stop. I remember the last election. It was very clear. We'd gone to the 2019 election, and that election was about those tax cuts, including the Lamido, which was put in place first after my first, I think it was my first budget as Treasurer in 2016-17, and that went over, you know, they said it was a 7-year program, and this is the last phase. It really only had 2 features, and that was to wipe out the 37-cent tax bracket, really important. So if you earned everywhere from $45,000 to $200,000 a year, you would pay no more than 30 cents in the dollar for every extra dollar you earned. That was important because it gave people incentive. I mean, bracket creep for the vast majority of Australians was gone. You could just take the extra shift. You could work hard for the promotion. You could go and study. You could do things to really do what you could. And he said very clearly, no changes, we will do it. So I suppose really the question now, and it's for Peter and others, I suppose, to be making this case, and I have no doubt they will, but next time you hear them say, oh, we won't change, franking credits, or we won't change negative gearing, well, on what possible basis, if they make those changes, and I hope in good sense, the Prime Minister will not make those changes and keep his word, because I think it's good policy. And if, as you were suggesting in your intro, that they need to have extended the Lamido, well, fair enough. They could do that. I mean, we had it scheduled to come off. I'm not making any
and as
otherwise.
I would have been.
You would have said the same thing to me.
Screaming at you for the whole time.
And Josh and I, would have considered that decision in the context of the economic circumstances we're now facing, and whether we could have done that, then we would have made a call about it. But, you know, those tax cuts for Stage 3, when they were first announced, we said they'll be the last ones to come. And it's sort of people have gone that whole journey. And, you know, it just makes me concerned that, you know, you've got to run the country for the people who pay tax too.
Yeah, absolutely.